Go ahead, Anita.
Thank you so much. I have a Ukraine question and then a question about the refugee cap. Just starting with Ukraine, Slovakia's elected a new leader who says they will not send one more bullet to Ukraine. They say that they have bigger problems in Ukraine. How does the White House see this splintering of NATO unity, and what is the administration going to do to bring NATO back together?
So look, and I kind of answered this question in a different variation of the question, but the president has been able to bring together our allies and partners in a historic way to support Ukraine and the brave people of Ukraine as they're fighting, certainly towards to protect their democracy. That is something that the president's going to do. NATO alliance, it's the strongest that it's ever been because of what this president's leadership has been. We're going to continue to certainly have those conversations with our partners and allies. But look, and I said this earlier, it does not help. It does not help what we see House Republicans doing. It doesn't. And that's just the reality of it. But we're going to continue to bring our partners and allies together as we support the people of Ukraine as they're fighting Russia's unjust aggression.
Okay, on the refugee cap, which was announced on Friday, the administration says set the cap yet again at 125,000 people. But the State Department says that only 51,231 refugees were admitted up to this point. So, number one, is this number including Afghans who are given humanitarian paroles? How does the administration plan to reach this target of 125,000, and what else is needed to get you to that aspiration?
So one of the things, as you know, that we've tried to do is we've tried to improve certainly the system. I don't have specific numbers on Afghans, but you know, one of the things that we do, we implemented a number of efficiencies within state and DHS to reduce processing times. State has also approved 51 new local offices. So we have taken steps, and that's just a couple of things, to make sure that we're improving the system. And so we're going to certainly continue to do that. And so, look, we said when we first set this target that it was going to be ambitious. We knew that. We knew that 125,000 is an ambitious number, and within the progress we've made, we feel that we are better positioned to meet those goals this upcoming fiscal year, and so that's what we're going to try to do. We'll continue to go around. Go ahead, Brian.
Karine, I wanted to ask about the president's legislative priorities. I mean, given that what House Republicans are doing right now, continue to threaten to shut down the government in 45 days and hold up Ukraine funding. Is that it for what the president can do legislatively for the foreseeable future, or are there other legislative priorities where he thinks there might be a coalition with House Republicans?
I mean, look, the president, you saw what his priorities were in the budget negotiations, right? We also wanted to make sure we were protecting Medicare, protecting Social Security, right? Those were things that were incredibly important to the American people. Yes, Ukraine funding is also really important as well, which is why we are confident that we'll continue to see this bipartisan support for the Ukraine funding. And so, look, you're going to see the president meet with his cabinet in a couple of hours. We're going to talk about the importance of implementing the historic pieces of legislation that he's been able to pass. And when you think about the Inflation Reduction Act, when you think about how that's going to lower healthcare costs and what that's doing, right? The capping 35% for seniors when it comes to insulin. That's really important. When you think about beating Big Pharma and the first 10 tranches, the first 10 tranche of pharmaceutical drugs. That's where the cost is going to go down. All these things are incredibly important. We have to continue to implement these important pieces of legislation that's currently now law, and that's going to be the president's focus. And also protecting Americans, right? Protecting Americans, making sure we're keeping Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. And so that's going to be the focus. You've heard us talk about the unity agenda and how important that is. Those are ways, if you want to see what the president believes he can move forward, how he can move forward in a bipartisan way with Congress, look at the unity agenda. And so that's going to continue. He's going to continue to try to move with that as well.